You know, it was such an honor to be in *Ali: A Star Is Born*. Working with four-time Academy Award nominee Bradley Cooper, it was such a privilege. He's an incredible director, an incredible co-star, an incredible musician, an incredible producer, an incredible screenplay writer. I mean, I can't say enough about the creative process. You know, he built a family with this cast, and in that, there was a sanctuary of trust. And I was able to create a character, Ali, that I believe is very special. A woman that has essentially, you know, given up on herself, but through love, she finds her way. Well, that's a really interesting question because when I decided to start calling myself Gaga, it was because my friends were calling me Gaga, and then I added the lady on top of it, and I, you know, really believed in myself, and this was a way for me to create a character. I always wanted to be an actress before I wanted to be a singer, so I created a character. And I have been creating characters, I think, with each album I've made over the years so that I could act in a way. And when I did this, it gave me wings to fly. You know, it just felt like a superhero cape. And, you know, that's really the big difference between me and Ali, is that I really believed in myself. I really was like, I'm gonna bang down every door and I am going to get every gig that I can get so that I can sing my heart out all over this town, and I am gonna make it as a singer and as a musician. And Ali is not like this at all. At the beginning of this film, this woman is unhappy, she's depressed, she's given up on herself, and, you know, her happiness is really relegated to, you know, taking care of her father, as well as singing, you know, one night a week at a drag bar. And she's very different from me, and that was a challenge for me. A challenge to go from, you know, me, Lady Gaga, being someone that really believed that they could do it, to transforming into a character that believes that they can't, and that they're not pretty enough or good enough or inspiring enough. You know, I think the reason that people walk away from this film feeling that sense of, you know, perseverance and bravery is because that there's not just one star that is born in this movie. Sure, Ali is the star that is born. It's in the title. Ali, a star is born. You know that this is going to happen before you even watch the film. But truly, every single character in the movie is a star. And they're a star because they are going through life with bravery. They are going through life with strength. And they're going through life their way in the best way that they can. And I think that that's why people walk away from the film feeling that. Oh, so much changed me. My life completely changed after filming this movie. You know, when I look back on it, it doesn't feel like an acting job. It feels like I lived as Ali and I had a life experience and moment that is real. It doesn't feel like I filmed a movie. It feels like I lived the movie in real life. You know, I wanted the audience to be inspired in a lot of different ways. I wanted, firstly, for them to see the nectar or the nucleus or the center of her authenticity, just her, you know, by herself. And this is what Bradley wanted as well. That's why we first see her just walking up, you know, the driveway in the back of where she works as a catering girl, and she's singing the preamble to Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Judy Garland, which is an homage to Judy Garland, who played this character in one of the earlier remakes. So I wanted the audience to feel, first, just her natural talent. then I wanted them to feel and hear the talent and the sound that would change because she was in love, so in love with Jack. And, you know, when she was with Jackson, her sound sort of morphed a little bit into his sound because she was working with his band. And that's how we did things, and that's how we worked on things. When we were in the studio, I worked with Jackson's band, with Lucas Nelson from The Promise of the Real, Willie Nelson's son. And Bradley found Lucas, and Lucas is wonderful. So we worked on those songs together. So then there were those songs that were sort of Ali inspired by Jackson's songs. Then Ali meets this big time manager in the industry, and he sees, you know, a big commercial success for her future and introduces her to some more urban pop producers. So then we see a challenge for Ali to maintain her authenticity and yet move into a new genre of music. This provides for both a challenge for her and a challenge in their relationship. And then by the end of the film, without giving it away, we see her kind of return to a completely different space when she's on stage all by herself and singing. And I really believe that although we see her become famous during this film, a star is really not born until the last frame of this movie. The true success for Ali in this film is her ability to go on. You know, I think that having strength and being able to overcome the challenges in life, that is where the star is in all of us. That is what makes one a superstar. It's not how many times you can get hit. It's how many times you can get hit and then get up again and keep going and fighting and moving forward. I think, you know, what Ali gained in the beginning of this film, or sort of in the middle, is that she gained the opportunity to live out her dream. I mean, I don't think that she just felt so happy when she became, you know, really famous and was singing on, you know, television or at the Grammys. I think Ali also just loved being on stage with Jackson. I mean, just sharing the stage with him, her dreams were already coming true. She was being herself. She was singing her heart out. She was singing in front of giant audiences that he was sharing with her because he was such a massive superstar, or I should say, is such a massive superstar in this film. What do I think Ali lost? I think that Ali lost a lot in this movie. I think that what she begins to lose is that there is a friction that takes place between her and Jackson at some point because she has changed so much, and so much has changed around her. And this friction obviously will provide for, you know, a conflict in their relationship. That is something that's addressed in the movie. And you see also, though, the tremendous love and how these two people come together. And I have to say, you know, as a director, Bradley's incredible. I mean, there were times that we did scenes together where I was so angry with him and so upset with him, but also I had to completely trust him and love him at the same time as my director. You know, to be afraid truly and be unafraid at the same time, it was really a very special experience. Bradley gave that to me. He taught me how to be afraid and unafraid all at once. That's like a magic trick, I think. You know, well, I went to acting school when I was young, and I studied acting. I studied method acting. It was derived from Stanislavski method, which is a lot of sense memory. So, like, for example, the first thing that they teach you is how to relax your body fully And they also will teach you how to, drink an invisible cup of coffee, how to smell the invisible cup of coffee, how to taste the invisible cup of coffee, how to feel it, what it feels like when you swallow it, so that if you need to, when you're working in a film or on television, create something, a sense for yourself, that you learn how to create that sense without it actually being there. So I did a lot of acting workshops when I was younger, and then Bradley, who is just an amazing director and coach for acting in a way as well, he introduced me to both Elizabeth Kemp and Susan Batson, who I worked on with this film. And we did a dream workshop with Elizabeth, where she said to me, I was laying on the floor, and she said, I want you to go back to a time in your life where life blasted you so hard that you don't remember who you were before it happened. And I remember I just started to cry. And, with Susan, we went through the script and really dug deep every single day and went, down. I call it the deep dive. You go deep down into your soul and into the nectar of your being, and you operate from there. Changing my hair color, taking off all my makeup, dressing like Allie for months before we would film. These are all the ways that I prepared. And I prepared in my own career, but the truth is I gave up on being an actress and just went for it as a musician. And so now, after all of those years, Bradley always says this, time is the best currency. Now I finally got to use my acting chops that I've always had, and I got the opportunity that I'm so humbled and grateful for, to be a leading actress for the first time in Ally: A Star Is Born. I would just love to tell all my Japanese fans that it is so important to be true to yourself. I think we all have questions about who we are and why. I think we all struggle in one way or another. Everyone has their thing that they're dealing with. But always going back to your inner voice and listening to what that inner voice is saying, I think that is the most important thing. Be yourself, love who you are, and be compassionate. And then give that love and compassion and kindness to everyone around you, and it will always come back to you.
Great.
And aishitemasu.